Apalachicola is framed by Apalachicola Bay and Apalachicola River, a gutsy version of explosive flavors featuring a cornmeal-crusted sweet catfish with spicy collards finished with a butter sauce of bacon, peanuts, and chilies. I'm Chef Jeannie Pierola. I'm a 5-time James Beard semifinalist and executive chef and owner of several award-winning restaurant concepts. Now I want to share some simple cooking techniques that will make you a better home cook and walk you through some delicious recipes that are sure to impress. This is Flavored by Flame. Hey everybody, continuing our celebration of Florida cuisine, we've got a killer dish today. Inspired by Apalachicola, where there's that Gulf Coast and all those rivers flowing into that area, it has given birth to great cuisine. Here we're going to do some catfish, a sweet and spicy cornmeal-crusted catfish with some pickled collard greens and a butter sauce that's based on bacon, peanuts, and chilies. So it's an awesome dish. I popped both my burners on because I'm going to begin both these dishes by rendering some bacon. I did say that 2 bacons, 2 pots, it will be worth it. The good news about gas, it's fast, it's efficient, but you have to take care of it sometimes. You want to keep the enamel top always clean. You want to make sure your eyes are always free of debris. That allows for even gas flow, and that creates that speed, that heat, and that efficiency we all are looking for. So I'm going to start my beurre blanc over here with what we have brunoised bacon. Brunoised, the smallest cut into the pan. You can already hear it sizzling because that's gas, cooking it fast. And then I have some lardons, some julienne bacon. Same bacon, different cut for our collard greens. I'm going to get those both started so I can render that bacon fat because they're both flavor builders that create the base for this dish. Okay, our bacon is all rendered down. I'm going to remove it from the pan and drain it. Always have a drain ready, because you want to drain the oil away to preserve the texture. So that's the julienne bacon for the collard greens. And this is the brunoised bacon for the beurre blanc. For the butter sauce, it's going to finish our dish. We're going to preserve both pans with the bacon fat because now we're going to get everything started. Into our beurre blanc goes a combination of peppercorns, thyme, bay leaf, and we're putting a little jalapeno because we're calling this beurre blanc peanuts, bacon, and chilies. And that starts that green chili flavor. We're going to put that right into the pan. We're going to wilt it a little bit, add a little bit of shallot, about a teaspoon, and then right to it, we're going to get our reduction going. About a cup of white wine, and a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. You're going to bring that down to a simmer, and you're going to let that roll very slowly before we mount it with butter to finish our sauce. My beurre blanc is started, my reducing is happening, and over in the collard green pot, I'm going to add onion. We julienne the onion and the collard greens because it works better with the strips of collard green. To have a nice julienne onion, and then you have these nice cut greens, they kind of work in unison together. So as my onions get going, just want to bring them down and let them get a little translucent. Into my onions, they're a little soft, I'm going to add jalapeno and garlic. Stir that in. It's always awesome to get your onions going first, bring them to a translucent stage so that when you introduce the garlic scents the whole pan. That it's not just scorching and burning to the bottom. The onions actually create a field for the garlic to bloom into the whole dish. Now that I have my onions and my jalapenos and my garlic going in my bacon fat, I'm going to add apple cider vinegar to reduce. 2/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar for the amount of greens that we're making in this recipe. Into the reduction of vinegar, I'm adding brown sugar and bay leaf and tomato paste. And I'm going to cook all this down to make sure that the tomato paste is cooked. So I really want to get this tomato paste almost simmering so that I know that kind of flavor of the can is gone and I've got that robust depth of flavor from concentrated tomato. Now these are collard greens, and there's all kind of ways that you can introduce collard greens into your diet. They're awesome for you. Everybody raves about kale. Collard greens are another superfood. They really are. We've just taken them, ripped off the stems, and cut them basically into kind of even squares so that they kind of work together. They're all going to go into the pot. I want to make sure I get all my greens into the pot, and then the next step, they will compress. It looks like a lot. You just want to start turning them over. You want to make sure that you get all the greens coated with this flavor, because you want the greens to actually simmer in the bacon and the garlic and the onion. So you just keep turning them and bringing them down. And you can already see how much they're going to come down. Take some time, so we add chicken stock. We'll say about 2 cups of chicken stock. And then we're just going to let this simmer low and slow until these collards are done. Most important thing is to keep turning them over and making sure that everything is incorporated, all the leaves are coated, and that they can start now slow braising. Just want to leave them on a low simmer and let them break down. You should smell this. My beurre blanc is still reducing, and we're going to get ready to bread our catfish. My collard greens have completely cooked down, but I want to taste them for seasoning and see if I've got them where I want them to be. It's one of the most important steps in cooking. Always taste as you go. Well, they're delicious. They really are taste pickly and vinegary. I prefer a little more pop, so I always add a little of my favorite hot sauce. That's just a nice way to finish the cooking. So you finish it with a nice bright pop of heat. And those should be ready to go. Now my beurre blanc is reduced down, and I'm going to, like any traditional beurre blanc, mount it with butter, cubed butter, piece by piece. So the reduction is nice and thick and glossy, and I'm just going to slowly whisk in my butter. You'd be surprised how much butter this will take. It will take almost all of this butter, and you end up with a beautiful velvety butter sauce. You want to just keep adding the butter so that it emulsifies and it actually absorbs the butter without breaking. If you see little bits of fat or anything congealing on the side, your sauce is about to break. You definitely want to slow down. I have this on a very low simmer at the lowest point. I do want to keep heat to it, but if your reduction is boiling hot, you actually don't even really need to keep it over the heat. And since a gas stove is so awesome, you can always just pop the heat back on. You should be able to bring all the butter into your very hot reduction without extra heat. But if it starts to slow, just pop that heat on. The good thing about this butter sauce is that you're learning to make a classic beurre blanc. A simple wine reduction, a wine and lemon juice reduction, scented with thyme and peppercorns and bay leaf. That's really the whole base to a beurre blanc. And it's one of the mother sauces. It's great to have in your repertoire. This is becoming so velvety and rich. You can just see the butter emulsifying with the reduction and bonding with it. I'm going to add my bacon to my collards. That is the finishing touch to add some crunch. Don't forget the brunoise bacon is for your beurre blanc. We're going to now strain this into a bowl and simply fold in our remaining ingredients and season it and keep it warm and make sure it's ready to go because we're about to bread some killer catfish. Straining my butter sauce, this beautiful velvety concoction, right into a bowl. I strained my butter sauce to take my aromatics out of it. I can already tell by the consistency and the smell that it's going to be awesome. So what we do to finish this is we put a little bit of crushed chili flakes, some roasted peanuts. I do like peanuts. And the bacon right into the butter sauce. I'm going to finish my butter sauce with a good amount of chives. And now we're just going to stir it together and check the seasonings. So you see the bacon, the chilies, and the chives. Let's be honest, it looks really delicious, doesn't it? So I'm going to taste it. A little bit of bacon, a little bit of... It's delicious, but it needs seasoning. We're going to salt it. A little pepper. That's white pepper in this butter sauce. I like white pepper with fish. Probably add a little more chive and a little more peanut just to heft it up. And we're ready to go. The butter sauce is ready. Now you do just want to keep this warm. You just want to keep it as warm as you can because reheating beurre blanc doesn't happen. You can't really reheat a beurre blanc. It'll break it. It's an awesome time in this kitchen because we're getting ready to crust the catfish. I've got the collard greens hooked up, ready to go. The beurre blanc is seasoned. I've put it back into my pot so it's staying a little bit warm without breaking. And now I'm going to create a dredge. It's dry, wet, dry. We want to start off with a flour that's so thin we can knock it off. It's only there for the egg to adhere to. Simple crack of eggs. I don't crack my eggs on the side of a bowl because I'm always fearful of shell. And I don't want a shell in any of my egg. Touch of milk into my scramble. I want to season my scramble. Some salt. Pepper. I'm going to use both peppers. I like white pepper with fish, but in my dredge, I want a little heftiness. So that's my eggs that I've seasoned. Just going to scramble that. Get that ready to go. And then my flour, equal parts, cup each, cornmeal and all-purpose. And we have a combination here of brown sugar, cayenne, and chipotle pepper. And we're just going to put them all in there because we want our dredge to be seasoned. Definitely going to add some salt, 2 teaspoons, and a teaspoon of fresh thyme. We're just going to stir this together and make sure it's completely incorporated. Look for any lumps from that sugar. You want that sugar to be evenly distributed. That'll help the cornmeal get golden brown and give it a little sweet touch. Okay, now we're ready to dredge, but we need to season our fish. So we're going to season our fish with salt on both sides. This is beautiful freshwater catfish. White pepper, both sides. Flip my fish, season it on the other side. Salt, pepper. Now I'm going to put my pan on the burner. I'm going to preheat it. I'm looking for a medium-high heat. I'm going to nap this with a little bit of oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, peanut oil, whatever you prefer. Peanut oil would be the oil to use for this dish, and that's what's in this pan, peanut oil. Simple 3-step dredge. Fish goes down in the dry flour. First, you want to make sure you coat all the sides. It's really important to get the texture of the crust you want. And then you want to make sure you kind of bang it off and that the fish is as lean with that flour as it can be. Right into the egg. Flip it over and make sure it's totally coated with that egg. And again, here as well, you want to drain it off super good, kind of bang it on the side of the bowl. It helps drain it off into the dredge. Very simple. And again, making sure totally 100% gets coated on all sides. I'm going to let that sit while I start my second piece. Again, into the flour, coating all sides, making sure there's no excess into the egg. Flip it over. Here's my other piece, ready to go into the oil. I'm going to coat this on all sides. There is a top and a bottom to all fish. Sometimes people don't think about that, but if you want pretty food on your plate, you would cook the top first. So the bottom is where the bloodline was. It's the flat side, and the rounded side is the top. Then we're just going to slip it into the oil. And of course, when you do that, lay it away from you. Lay it away from you so you don't splash any hot oil on yourself. And now we have our catfish going. So we're going to fry this catfish about 2 to 3 minutes per side. This is the kind of fish, it's so thin, you'll cook the whole thing on the stove. And what we're looking for is just tremendous golden brown deliciousness, as they say. See? So you see we have this beautiful golden crust. It's actually perfect. It's exactly what you want. Seals in the moisture of the fish and makes it just juicy, great eating. 2 more minutes on this side and we should be completely cooked through. Pretty sure my fish is done. I'm going to very gently remove it and drain it off. I'm ready to plate. Just going to put them a little off center in the plate. Then my beautiful butter sauce. Bacon, chilies, peanuts. We'll put a little chive. Top with a little more peanuts. And just a little sprig of thyme. And that's the dish. Sweet and spicy cornmeal-crusted catfish with pickled collard greens, peanuts, chili, and bacon beurre blanc. I really hope you'll try this dish. It is a mouth pleaser and a crowd pleaser. Everybody will love it. Enjoy. For more information about energy-efficient natural gas and available appliance rebates, visit peoplesgas.com/rebates.